November and December, I think we got a total of like 5 or 6 jobs. It was tough. Knowing how to plumb does not mean you know how to operate a business. It was, sink or swim.
What's one mistake you'd tell plumbing business owners to avoid?
I would say
Field Pulse is the all-in-one field service management solution built specifically for field service teams. Field Pulse is designed to simplify your day-to-day operations by combining everything that you need into one platform. This includes multiple integrations with other softwares you might already use, like QuickBooks Online or Desktop. With advanced tools and features for scheduling and dispatching, CRM, estimates, invoices, project management, team communication, and detailed reporting and insights, Field Pulse will transform the way that your team operates, saving you time and finding revenue potential you didn't even know existed. Whether you're a small business looking to grow or a larger company ready to scale, Field Pulse gives you the tools to increase productivity and keep everything running smoothly. And don't just take our word for it. Field Pulse has earned over 580 glowing reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. That's Field, P-U-L-S-E. Head to their website to learn more. That's fieldpulse.com. And because we know how impressed y'all are going to be, we got you guys an exclusive limited time offer. So make sure you mention Owned and Operated and get 15% off their annual plan with Field Pulse now. Check it out. Welcome back. I beat you to it.
Damn it.
Welcome back to Owned and Operated. Today on our show, we have a special guest from Portland, Oregon. We have Kenny Bush, who's the owner and operator of Da Vinci's Best Plumbing. Welcome to the show, Kenny.
Hey, Kenny.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
No, dude, this is good. This is going to be fun. Like I said off camera, we don't often get a chance to talk to people like pretty fresh into their entrepreneurial journey. And it sounds like you've had a really strong first 18 months. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So you started a plumbing company. You've got a great story to tell. I'd love it if you just gave us a little bit of a background on the last, what got you into plumbing in the first place?
So I grew up farming out in a small town, Burns, Oregon. It was a 2-hour drive from the nearest city, and grew up farming. Then I ended up moving to the Portland area.
Mm-hmm.
And plumbing just came easy to me. I mean, I spent years building, wheel lines and pivots and running sprinkler systems and all that kind of stuff. So plumbing, it made sense from the get-go. And I had the work ethic and the drive to do it. I had a new family at the time, and I was just ready to go. I found something that I enjoyed and I could stick with and make a good living.
And when did you catch, I'm always interested, when did you catch the entrepreneurial bug? Was it really early on in your journey, or was it sometime during that 15-year plumbing stint you said, I just want to do this myself?
So honestly, it was in 2023. So I had no intent on starting my own thing. Didn't even think it was a possibility. I didn't have the capital to do it. All these excuses I told myself in my head that, why I couldn't do it. So I had, and the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. So I left one company, went to another. Basically, it was a big company, but it was like a machine with too many moving parts and not enough oil. It was pretty bad when you're working for somebody that doesn't know half of what you know about plumbing or even what they're doing. I can do your job better than you can. What the heck? I got offered a partnership by a construction company, which gave me the idea. I started diving into the legal aspect on how to start the business. But what it turned out to be, I was basically being an employee for this construction company and getting 1099 at $50 an hour. So it didn't pan out. And, I did it for about 6 to 8 months. And then after that, wife and I decided can't do this with this guy. We need to get our own thing going. And I already bought a box truck, cause I was thought I was going business partners with somebody else. So I was working out what I had, bought a box truck, an old 94 F350 repurposed U-Haul.
Heck yeah.
You know, and it's still my favorite truck. It rides like a Cadillac and it is, it's sweet. Then it's got the big block 460 in it. So it gets up and moves whenever you want it to. But anyways, after, you know, feeling taken advantage of on that aspect, you know, I'm not calling myself a victim because like I put myself in that situation. But decided it was time to get our own thing going. We had already come up with the name, you know, because back in February of 2023, we came up with a name and incorporated, because that's how the guy was saying, oh yeah, no, you need to start your own LLC and pay that LLC. I mean, I was a few things short of being completely legal because I didn't have my CCB and everything yet at that time.
I think that's a real common way that people get started is they start into the sub as a sub in the trade. They get their toes dipped in, they buy the truck, and then they're like, I'm almost there. Like, why not just get my license and run? So how did you come up with the name? Because you know, there's a lot of different names out there. Da Vinci,
and the branding looks good.
Yeah, it's unique.
I'm going to Google a truck picture here in a second.
But super unique. It's not like A+1 plumbing or best plumbers. You know, it's,
like
it's the
Wilson.
typical. Yours are not your last name, right?
That's a good looking truck.
This is what our newer trucks look like.
That is really cool. And I love that you have a model too. For anyone not watching on video,
just get on YouTube.
Yeah, get on YouTube. I can't explain this, but it's a really cool little model of a truck.
Full action doors.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's what our trucks look like now. The newer one, at least. The older ones, of course, they're the old box truck, the old U-Hauls, you know, the big old square body and the like little granny cover, whatever it's called, over the top. But I mean, they look, once they're wrapped, they look sweet. They look brand new. I mean, you couldn't tell. You wouldn't that it's just an old U-Haul truck driving down the road because it looks legitimate, you know, and that it takes a new wrap, you know, a new skin put on an old body, and it looks brand new. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. That's what we used to do too. I remember when we were smaller, like my only measurement for like, am I going to buy this truck was it below $17,000? Like it was 17,000 and 100,000 miles, I think.
Yeah.
It was those two qualifications. And this was like a decade ago now, but we still have a few of those, of those. Like, I bought you for 16.5 back in 2017.
Yeah. Our first truck we got for, right around 7,000. The guy, he was asking $5,500 on Facebook Marketplace, you know, and, I had part of it. I mean, we had $5,000 in the bank, you know, and that's what we had to start out with. Like, got to buy tools, got to buy, you know, all sorts of stuff. But I made him an offer, you know, because I didn't have the credit, didn't have the capital, nothing like that to start out. Made the guy an offer, you know, like, well, I can go to the bank and get a loan and pay them an interest, or you can carry the loan and I pay you the interest. So we just chopped it up to like $7,200, you know, just threw a little extra on top of it for him and had him carry the loan. And I paid it off in 4 months. So, I mean, it was easy for him, an extra, you know, $1,700 in his pocket.
Something that I find interesting, especially like you've been in plumbing for a while. I've been in plumbing for a while. I remember 15 years ago, and I remember it used to be kind of common for guys to go off on their own, right? It was like, you know, the average business size was a lot smaller. There weren't a bunch of Goliaths freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I remember average size of a company used to be like 10 people total. And so it was a natural career progression 15 years ago to go off on your own because it was likely that you'd make more money. What I've always wondered is, like how nowadays that might not be the case, because you can make so much money working for these companies. Like, how do you get over the hump on that? And that's like a real curiosity of mine. Like, I have guys that make hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's hard to imagine that they would ever want to go start something, because literally all they have to do is show up to work, do a decent job, and they'll make like 180 grand.
Yeah.
So how'd you mentally get over the hump on like, hey, this is easy, this is hard?
So, knowing your worth is one big thing. Especially like knowing what you can do. And I mean, so me, I have ADHD, and if I'm not challenged, if I'm not intrigued by a job, if I'm just going there and going through the motions, it's over, it's done. Like I'm bored with it. So getting my own thing going was intriguing. I got to hyper focus and learn on what I could do, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I spent a year or so like reading up on, because like the first business idea, I thought I was gonna go flip houses, right? Like I thought that was gonna be good. I had a few friends that we were planning on doing this, and looking at like how much capital and how much credit it's gonna take to flip houses for very little. Like there's a lot of risk, but you don't get as much profit even. You can spend 6 months on a house flip and make $15,000. Like I didn't see that as working out too well, and I was like, well, why don't I just do something that I already know in plumbing? Like seeing how much these plumbing companies are making. Like, shoot, we can charge whatever we want to charge, really. Like that's the whole thing. It's a specialty trade. Same with HVAC, same with electrical. Like the specialty trades is where it's at. The handyman can say that he can do it, but we still have to go in and fix his mistakes all the time.
Yeah. So as you start, you incorporate the name, you become the sub, you start deciding I'm going to do my own thing. How did those first 6 months go? Because I know from John, I don't know about you, but I've never started up. We acquired everything that we've had. So phones were ringing for us day one, hour one. We had leads coming in. We weren't scared of people sitting. How was that first 6 months for you? And that process of like, I need to ramp this up. I'm just sitting at home and this isn't what I expected. Or maybe it's the opposite. I don't know.
So it was, like said, like it was November 1st is when we got our business license and got legal, legit, right? So posting on every, like Facebook, we were trying Yelp, and Google,
The hustle.
we were trying everything.
Yeah.
November and December, I think we got a total of like 5 or 6 jobs. So it was tough. And then January came along, still kind of slow in the beginning. And like January 11th or something like that, we got hit with a big freeze.
I was just going to ask. Yeah. What's the weather like in January there?
Yeah. Like, well, this January, it was rough. We didn't have a freeze. We didn't have, I mean, we got below, freezing a couple times here and there, but it always warmed back up in the daytime. So we didn't stay cold. We didn't get cold and stay cold. We just got cold and warmed right back up during the daytime. So there was no big freezes. But yeah, last winter we went from having nothing on the board to being booked 3 weeks out. And just like that. I mean, it was like overnight. And it was, I went from, being in the office, trying to get everything organized, put together, and we had just, I think, January, February, I believe. I think February, we started with field polls. We were trying, might have been a little bit sooner, but getting it all organized. So, I mean, I didn't get a lot of sleep that first year. It was kind of rough. Just, I mean, I still don't get much sleep.
I was just gonna say, wait, did that change for you? Because
sleeping like a baby now. Yeah.
So Yeah, because like I run the emergency calls, and we have a late night call come in.
Yeah.
Our one of the things we offer, like the employees, which employee we only have one right now, is no weekends, no nights and weekend work. Like you work your regular schedule and go home and do what you want to do. Me as the business owner, well, like I'll take on whatever. I have a hard time sleeping anyways, so it's might as well go to work and make an extra $1,000-$2,000 at 10 o'clock at night. Why not?
Yeah. How are you handling, like, you talked about bringing on Field Pulse, but administratively sounds like you're driving revenue. Are you in the truck full time? Like, who's answering phones? Who's putting in customer info? Who's doing all that stuff?
All right. So we have I do that sometimes when I'm sitting here at the computer. Like, I'll answer the phone. My wife, she's majority business owner. So she left her job in January of last year. She was a meat wrapper, right? So she had no experience in answering phone calls and putting in computer information. Like, she probably hadn't been on a computer really except for training for a job and school, high school probably, and so it was a learning experience for her. Me, like, I was trying to manage everything in the very beginning. I was trying to do all the books. I messed up the books. Like, I found out that is not my place. So luckily, my wife she now manages the books. She answers the phone. She, she manages the stuff at the office. And it's great, working with my partner, to create not only a family, but we create our other baby, which is our business. Like, we're watching it grow at the same time. It's really special to do something like that with a partner and a spouse, because it's I don't know. I just watched another plumbing business who partnered up with a friend, and one was a plumber, one was the IT guy, right? And that business just closed its doors, like, and not a year later. Kind of wild seeing how quick it can happen to other companies, but it's cool watching it, like, oh man, we escaped the downfall.
The first year. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And, like, seemingly strong, right? You said in your first year, you guys did 600,000 in revenue. Like, that's an awesome first year.
Yeah. We did pretty good. When we had another plumber who I used to work with at another company, hired him on. He was tired of jobs. He was tired of the union and, like, all sorts of stuff, and board. And because, like, I had been talking to him, I was like, because I bought a second truck, and I'm building it out, and I'd call and talk to him. What are you doing? I'm building your truck, bud. Waiting for you to come on board. He was stuck on. He's like, no. He's like, I think if I do something, I'm going to do it for myself. I don't want to go, work for anywhere else. But eventually, like, he didn't have the capital. He didn't have anything set up. So he came and worked with us. He worked with us for 5-6 months. And we were both running full time for a little while. Both of us were in the trucks and running jobs. Of course, we give, our employees, they get first dibs on jobs. Like, that's just, they got to make their money. Because we're going to be getting paid a little bit off of them working anyways. So, it's, they got to make their money, make a good income, and, stay happy with their work.
Do you find that being from the industry helped you out in that sense with hiring and getting contractors on board and making those networking connections?
Yes and no. So I found out that being a plumber, knowing how to plumb, like, has nothing to do with, like, does not mean you know how to operate a business. Like it is
Very true.
It is nothing like it, cause like other than having a drive to do the work, to do, to improve on everything, that's all I had going for me was the drive. Like the past plumbing experience did not give me a leg up on anything on running a business. It was still just as hard, and I wish I would have learned a little bit more before I jumped on in. But it was we jumped in and burned the boats. That was about it. We didn't have an option for failure. My wife was pregnant when we started this whole thing. It was sink or swim.
I mean, in my opinion, that's one of the best ways to do it, just because there's no turning back. You're there, you're doing it. It has to work no matter what. It gives you a little extra incentive to run that 10 p.m. call for that $3,000. Like, it's a lot easier to say, I can go back to doing something else and not do that. Let's change gears a bit. So you have the business up, you're running it. You're running calls. You have one guy working for you running calls. Talk to us about the structure of the business. How are you getting leads? Where are they coming from? What services, CRM are you using? Work us in on the business side and how you came to those decisions.
So in the beginning, I had, I was wearing all the hats, right? I was trying to do everything myself. I was going to the Small Business Development Center and trying, using free resources. And I wanted to, I wanted a website. I wanted all that stuff. So I was trying to learn how to build all my own stuff, right? I'm going to build my own website. What happened was the teacher, the guy that works for the SBDC, the teacher, he has his own web development and everything, business, and he's got some pretty big clients and a lot of them. So, I mean, after working with him a couple months, and I'm just this is going too slow. I can't get any calls off of my website because my website's non-existent. It's still, I don't know how to code anything. And I asked him, I was like, are you available to take on any more? He's absolutely. So we started up, and he's the one that actually turned the design, right? So my first design was pretty rough. It was just done on Canva, and that was, I made my own, but it was similar, right? It was the Vitruvian Man holding wrenches. But this guy, his name's actually Guy. He took it, did the artwork. He's a graphic designer as well. He took it and changed it all around for us. But the web development, he created our web page, and it looked so good, still looks good. The change in having just Canva based looking artwork or, whatever, to having a professional appearance, that changes everything, especially when you're trying to charge people professional prices and not handyman prices, you better look the part.
And so did he also help you, right? I mean, with your Google business page and intro to marketing, or did he just do the website and SEO?
So he does SEO. He does, he helps with a lot of everything. So we worked together on the Google My Business, getting that all set up. I did a lot of it myself, and he just comes in behind me and fines tune whatever I mess up, which is kind of nice. But and we're just looking into the MailChimp avenue because we got almost 700 contacts on that we've gained over the last year or so, and so we're gonna start a MailChimp campaign, and he's taking care of all that for us, and it's really nice having a company to do all that kind of stuff for you, and just not feeling the obligation to do everything yourself is huge.
Definitely.
When you're finally just I can do a lot of stuff, but I can do a lot of stuff that's kind of half-assed that I know nothing about. Like, am I going to spend the time and energy to perfect myself in this area, or am I just going to pay a professional to do it for me? And that's, the same concept with hiring a plumber. Somebody else can do what I do, with experience, but like when it comes down to it, you hire a professional.
So the latest thing that we've been working on is maximizing our LSAs, which is local service ads, and also optimizing our Google My Business profiles. So what that means is we're making sure that all of our LSAs are on when we need them and they're maximized to give us the best ROI. And then for GMBs, it's been partnering with service scalers to drive way more traffic through our GMBs. GMBs are almost like the new SEO. The more you put onto them, the better the performance. So our GMBs have been consistently getting better week after week after week. And it is currently our single most impactful organic lead channel. So we'll sell hundreds of thousands of dollars a week through our GMBs. And I think last week we got 900 phone calls. So really impactful, awesome investment. And we've been able to partner with service scalers on both of those things. If you want to hear a little bit more about service scalers, check out servicescalers.com. How did technology work at first? I think you talked about starting off with House Call Pro, and then did you look at Jobber? Like, what other alternatives did you look at?
I looked at Jobber. I never tried it out or anything like that. It just didn't seem like it was the right fit for us. But after the trial on Field Pulse, like, I knew it was right. So having the price book ability to go in and change anything and everything in your price book. So in the way that basically, I mean, I can run you through like what a call looks like for us and how we do it. So what we do is, call comes in, blah, blah, blah. We collect information. So, and then when we dispatch, push a button on Field Pulse, and I added my own little touch. So I used to be a front man and singing bands and stuff. So they get a link, to, a video of me singing in the truck. So, and it's
nice.
It's just makes it personable, right? So now they know, like, now they know a human's basically coming to help them.
Yeah.
So it's not just somebody that's random, right? So they get an actual human being who has character and everything like that. Gives them an insight to meet. So, and then also send them, customer communication. With Field Pulse, you're able to send them a link that tracks your vehicle on the way, and then also a picture of the tech, and that's huge. People love that.
Yeah.
And then, once we get to the job, we switch the status, right, from on the way to in progress. Go through, we assess the situation, we provide options. We provide free options on every job, a good, better, best. So it's not just you're stuck with one option and people feel backed in a corner. It's, the power's in your hands, basically, to the customer. Give them the opportunity to make a decision on what level of service they want. People love that. Like, you don't go to McDonald's because there's one thing on the, one item on the menu. They go for options. So we do that. We provide options, good, better, best. Customer signs for the work to be done. We do the work and complete it. And, then we bill out. After the bill out process, like, I have a nice way that I like to, that's not too direct or pushy, to ask for a review. Like I always say, not sure if you're a fan of giving reviews. I'm a huge fan of receiving them. And I'd love to hear from you, on Google. Like, and if you like, I can send you a link. So, I created a custom status because, you can create your custom statuses with custom triggers and everything like that on Field Pulse. So custom status, review link, and it sends them a review link to their email and a review link to their phone through text message. And from that we complete it, and that's it. And
you had a good amount of reviews. I was just looking at your GMB, 105. Like that feels pretty good for being a year in.
Yeah. And it's, they're all, legitimate reviews, it's, we didn't hire a company to come in and give us reviews. We earned every one of them.
And how has the reviews and all that, how has that shaped your business in terms of having the Google train continue to roll? Have you noticed that drive additional leads, or where are you generating most of your leads from?
So Google, with SEO, with local service ads, everything, Google likes to see the reviews. They want to see reviews coming in. When you get a bad review, Google dings you. So Google is not going to feed you as much when you get bad reviews coming in. They're going to feed the people that are getting positive reviews coming in, because they're going to Google wants to make sure their customers are being taken care of. They're not going to feed their customers to, like the people that are taking advantage, the people that are doing shoddy work. They're going to feed them to the people with the positive feedback. Reviews are everything. Like, and I let people know that all the time, reviews help us out a lot, and that's even in our triggered message with the link to our review link. It's like, your reviews help our family grow, because in all reality it does, and that's it. And also letting people know it's not just a business, we're a family.
That's awesome. Before we got on the air, you talked about Google LSA and the GMB process merging and the impact to your call volume. You want to walk us through that a little bit? And then what have you done to try to gain leads?
Mid-November, local service ads and Google My Business merged. We tried Surefire Local for a little while, used their 3-month period that was, in contract. I mean, it was okay. Just end result, we didn't get any better leads off of it. It was just an expense that wasn't paying for anything. And even, our SEO guy was saying, you don't need them. He's like, we got this aspect covered. So we had, majority of it was just organic calls. For, the last couple months, we've had a lot of organic calls, versus where we were getting, 3 to 5 local service ad calls a day, in the past. And now we're getting, maybe 1 or 2, and then sometimes none. But we're slowly picking back up, because I think we went, December, I think we had 5 local service ad calls through the whole month. Yeah. It was kind of tough. Luckily we had some other big projects that we, took on from previous customers that helped pull us through, right when we needed it the most too. I dove into the local service ads and the Google My Business, read all about it on, finding out why we could have been, why we took a dive basically. Yeah. And it was just little things. So there was a lot of little changes that we made, in our Google My Business. It was Da Vinci's Best Plumbing LLC. The Google local service ads, it was just Da Vinci's Best Plumbing. So we had some discrepancies between the two. So they weren't even correlating. They weren't feeding off each other. So changing that, playing the local service ad game, basically, going in and rating every one of their calls. I rated every call from May of 2024. Went back and I rated every call, and just trying to play their game. Jobs that were not marked booked or not archived or anything like that, went through and did every job that was on there.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a giant post on this, and you've hit all the nails on the head on playing the local service game, local service ads game. And a lot of that, what we saw was huge improvements when you rate the review or rate the job. It sends it back through the algorithm to let it know, hey, this was good, feed them more. This is not good, take those off.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're adding pictures to your local service ads. And actually, what was interesting that I found was that they prioritize pictures with faces in them, as well as pictures for individual job types. So if you have a plumbing sink job type, you take a picture with the sink. If you have a tub job type, you take a picture with the tub. And if you go into the subcategories of all the LSAs, there's a subcategories for each one, making sure to hit. And then I think you hit the nail on the head. Play the Google game. If there's a button for you to click it. Like they want you to fill it out. And then reviews now through GMBs drive velocity. They want good reviews. And I mean, it sounds like you're doing all the right things across the board to ramp your LSA back up. Have you seen that increase since those implementations?
Yes. So it's slow, but it is increasing. January was a little bit better than December, and February a little bit better than January, and so on. And one of the things I learned, is don't, I think one of the big things, people will rate a call negatively if they don't book it. That's not the key thing to do. You don't want to rate them negatively just because you don't book it. Like if it has anything to do with your service industry, rate it somewhat good, because otherwise they're not going to feed you the jobs that you actually need. Just because you didn't book it, they want to charge you. People doesn't do this for free. They want to charge you. Give them a reason to charge you. Tell them you like it. I like being billed. That's kind of nice.
I like spending Google money. For no reason.
But it's Google likes to they like to be informed. Put the notes in, the customer's name, put what type of job it was, whatever kind of information you can feed it.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Now, have you during that process, obviously you optimized your GMB, makes total sense. Did you figure out other lead gen activities to sort of de-risk GMB? Like how did you protect yourself from this in the future?
So that's our SEO guy has just been killing it. So we, he generates 3 blogs a week for us. And we are a top competitor with the local giants, on Google. We have our ratings are high. And then also, he shows us every week, I have a meeting with him, and shows me where we're ranking up to next to the giants, and a lot of times we're up ahead of them. It's pretty cool to watch and pretty cool to see how how what he's doing is actually improving the call volumes and what people are searching, and it's interesting to watch it all unfold.
Yeah, no, that is. When do you think you start bringing on the next tech? What does that timeline feel like to you?
So it's not like a timeline. Basically, it is, when the service picks back up, once I'm working full time back in the truck all the time. And then once, we got 2 trucks up and running full speed, we can bring out another one. I mean, because we already have the trucks. We have them all ready to rock. We got 4 box trucks, all outfitted out. Because the way that we were climbing and growing in our first year, I was ready. I thought we were going to need, more than 4 trucks. Because it was the business was coming in, and we couldn't keep up with the call volume. And there was times we had to turn away jobs just because we couldn't get to them fast enough. Yeah, the next one, hopefully, I mean, May or June would be awesome. But come tax day, and hopefully after all that stuff, We get some calls coming in, which April 15th is not only my daughter's birthday, but it was Leonardo da Vinci's birthday as well.
Hell yeah. Nice.
So is that how you got the name then?
So
never answered. I'm still confused.
So the name actually came from so I was looking up, good quotes, because I like quotes, and Leonardo da Vinci had a quote that was, "Water is the driving force of all nature." Right. And that one, that is perfect. I was like, we're going to do, at first it was, Da Vinci's drains. No, I don't like that. Do we do Da Vinci's, and then I was thinking about, because after doing some of the classes with the SBDC or just thinking about it, decided it was going to be Da Vinci's Best Plumbing, because what do people search for when they go to Google? Best plumbers near me, right? Best plumbing near me, right? What if your name's already part of that search? You're going to be ranked a little bit higher than a lot of the competitors that is, John Doe Plumbing, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was another thing, because I didn't want to name it after myself, because guess what? Who's going to buy Kenny Bush Plumbing 5-10 years from now?
You would be amazed.
Well, I mean, George Brazil is a giant corporation.
George Brazil.
And it's not owned by George Brazil anymore.
Yeah.
But it's
still
Da Vinci's Best Plumbing. That's something I can scale, right? That's something I can make big. I can branch out across the nation if I needed to. I'm not aiming that high right now, but the opportunity's there with the right name, with the right branding, everything.
It's a fun branding play, that's for sure. I think that the name is great from a branding perspective. It's definitely unique and memorable, which is always good to see.
Yeah.
And it's a name that people already trust, right?
Yeah.
Da Vinci, people know that name. They're already familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be even be able to remember it.
Yeah. I feel like you'd get a lot of questions of is your last name Da Vinci?
I do.
I feel like that would come up a lot.
Nope, my last name's Bush.
What's one mistake you'd tell new plumbing owners, plumbing business owners, to avoid? What would be the warning shot?
So know what you're worth and charge accordingly, right? Don't go in and don't ever race to the bottom to try to just get work. You don't want to be the bottom dollar plumber. That's not, and don't give your time away for free. Don't do free estimates. Don't do none of that stuff. Make sure you're getting paid. Whatever you're doing, you're making money, and you're making enough money to cover all your expenses, plus have your growth and everything on top of it. So it's.
Have you made Facebook groups, or have you made other friends that are pretty new on in the journey?
Yeah. So even one of the plumbers that we had, I shared my price book with him and everything, whatever, and try to coach him along, because I want to see him succeed too. We both worked for a company that they were mad as hell when we left and started our own things, right? So we're getting bad mouth and all this, and I don't want to be that kind of person. That is trash. That is trash. If you're gonna envy or be jealous of somebody so much because they're not making you money, that's not the kind of people I want to be.
If you could go back and start over, what would you do differently in those first few months?
Had my wife start on the books instead of having me finances part. That one was I made such a mess of our 2023 and 2024 taxes.
Yeah.
It was such a mess. We took a lot of money and a lot of time and effort from our accountant to fix everything. And also Rebecca, my wife, it took her a lot of hours. She's still working on last year's stuff, like she's still trying to fix it, so I stepped away from the finance part of it quite a bit. I don't do much with it anymore. I mean, I still pay some bills here and there, but that's about it. I don't try to do any bookkeeping, any accounting, or nothing like that. I stick to what I know, and that is plumbing. Like,
that's good advice. Yeah, I mean, and a third-party bookkeeper really isn't that expensive to outsource.
Just make sure it's a legitimate company. So we paid out over $10,000 to a supposable bookkeeper and accountant. They were a partnership, right? We got taken for over $10,000. Got told they were going to do our taxes, that they were going to fix our books. So we got our books scrambled even worse. And our taxes, we had to pay somebody else to do. So,
rough.
Yeah. Hire legitimate businesses. Don't do anything. A friend told me they know a guy that does this. Don't do none of that stuff. Hire legitimate businesses, hire professionals. And that goes back to why we're in the trades as well, right? Because people, it's a good decision to hire a professional when you need help.
Well, yeah. What are your goals for the next couple of years?
Goals for the next couple of years, I would say, get 3 guys, be able to step out of the truck completely, be able to get an office location where we're not working out of our house, and be able to separate our home life from our business life, because it's rough and it's taxing on the relationship even, just because my wife and I, when we talk, there's not always a lot of other discussion besides business now, and it has its own challenges there, but so business or my goals for the next couple 3 years would be to separate my home life and my business life, and be able to take vacations. That would be that nice.
Sounds good.
That does sound good.
That does sound pretty nice. This was awesome. I appreciate you sharing your journey here. It was fun to get to talk to someone like early on in their entrepreneur journey. I think this is my ninth year. You still don't sleep well, Kenny. I really hate to break it to you. That does not get better. It's hard to remember the early, the first year or two, just because it's been a minute. Yeah, but I definitely remember just drinking through a fire hose of just how do you drive leads? How do you get people? How do you find trucks that you can afford? What does pricing mean? Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm pumped for your success that you've seen this in your first year.
I did find out leasing trucks is better than buying trucks, buying used trucks, anything like that. Not only is leasing 100% tax write-off, but, buying the old U-Hauls trucks, we had to replace a motor in one of them already. That was $10,000 down the, So it was.
We've leased ours for 8 years now, 7 years. And we learned it almost the exact same way that you just said you learned it.
Yeah.
Except I think it was 4 engines. So it sounds like you're smarter than me, Kenny. You figured it out a lot quicker. It took at least 4 engines and an embarrassing amount of transmissions to realize maybe we should go newer.
Yeah. It's just, I think the thing is just learning from the people around you, surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Like you guys,
That's huge.
that is everything. Create a network of people or join a network of people that are driving to excel in life, that are business owners, that are doing the same type of thing you are. It doesn't matter where they're at in the States or anything like that, Facebook friends, we're not limited by our geographical location anymore. You can, and it's the same thing going on over where you guys are at that is going on over here. It might be different times, but it's it's all the same stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So
No, yeah. I mean, we agree. Yeah, that's why I'll give some selfless plugs for us here. But like our Facebook group has been a lot of fun. We have 800 people from all over the U.S. and Canada in there just contributing every day. It's been really valuable. We've been able to keep, like vendors and stuff out. So it's really just other home service entrepreneurs asking each other questions. And that's also the whole idea behind our new product, the peer groups, Owned and Operated Pro. Same exact thing. How do we surround ourselves with other people that we can just learn from and be supported from? So all about it. We're all about it.
Well,
Thanks for coming on today, Kenny. This was awesome. We loved having you on, and we loved hearing your journey.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun telling my story, and I mean, we can probably go on for hours telling stories, but I am going to join your guys's your group on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
and
join the Facebook
follow
group
along with you guys, and stay in touch.
Kenny, if people want to get a hold of you or find you somewhere, where should they go?
I mean, find me on Facebook. I mean, my name's Kenneth Bush. I mean, look for the Da Vinci's Best Plumbing truck. I mean, that's my profile picture. That's the easiest way, or they can always go to our
now
website,
in the Facebook group.
Da Vinci's Best Plumbing.
Find them in the Facebook group. All right. Thanks, Kenny.
Yep. Thank you, guys.